was reading. So I'll pull up those.
And this class,
What are you doing?
this is very
That's my ass. Oh, yeah.
This is, thank you.
Okay, put this away. Yes, it's unmuted. Yes. Hopefully live stream can hear me. Hello. All right. Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you. We are also live streaming online, so that's why the computer's set up here. So hopefully if people on live stream cannot hear us, hopefully someone will comment and we'll fix it. Okay, so we're gonna get started. So thank you guys for coming to the kickoff. This is the first time in a few years we're doing it in person, but like I said, if you know anyone who's missing it, it's also gonna be recorded and posted online on our YouTube channel. So it'll be available there as well. So if anyone on the live stream has any questions, you can drop it in the chat and we'll save time to answer those at the end. If anybody in person has questions, if you'd like to save those till the end, we'll have time for questions and we can answer anything that you have. Okay, so for anybody who's not familiar with Bob or Battle of the Books, Bob is a trivia competition that's made for 5th through 8th graders. And it's a selection of 5 books that are selected by a committee of teachers from Granville schools as well as librarians. I have a couple fellow youth librarians with me today, Julie and Rachel, who are going to come up later to help present some of the books that you're going to be reading for the Bob competition. This year, again, the Bob competition is fully virtual. That way we can have more people to participate, but we will have some in-person events as well. This year, we're introducing a Bob after party where you can come and get your certificates for people who place and have some fun with people and make connections and wear a lot of the cool t-shirts that you guys wear for your Bob competition, and you can see each other in person as well. So the date of Bob this year is Saturday, March 9th at 9 a.m. There are brochures in the back that have all of our Bob dates in them if you want to grab those at the end, or if you're online, we also have them on our Bob Facebook page, and we have the brochure on there and that has all the dates on there. You can also get those dates on kdl.org/Bob, and that is on the screen as well. So all of that information is on there. It's everywhere. You'll also get some more specific information about Bob at the coaches meeting. If anybody here is planning on being a coach this year, you'll get a lot of the more like nitty-gritty details at the coaches meeting. So if you're not feeling fully confident at the end of this kickoff about what being a coach means or what your responsibilities are, you'll get a lot more of that detail then, so you don't have to sweat about it too much. Like I said, we're sticking with 5 books this year. I know we used to do 6, but it was a little overwhelming. So for the past couple of years, we've done 5 books, and that's what we're sticking with again with 5 rounds of questions. And we'll be revealing the books a little bit later tonight. Again, it's teams of 1 to 6 students. So if you have just a team of 1, that's totally fine. You can just be you and your coach, but you can have up to 6 students on a team, and they all need to be in grades 5th through 8th. So they do all need to be in that age range. There can't be anyone outside of that age range to keep it fair. And then the coach does need to be 18 and up, so it can be a teacher, it can be a school librarian, it can't be one of us because we know the answers to the questions, so we can't fairly help a team more than the other. But it can also be a trusted older sibling as long as they're 18 and up and can responsibly host. We do ask that everyone tries to read all of the books because there will be questions from all the books on there. So if you don't have the answers to some of them, a lot of the questions will be harder for you. And then again, there's also sample questions and more information about what the questions are going to be like on kdl.org/Bob. So if you haven't ever participated in Bob before and you want to know what some of the questions look like, there's sample questions on there as well as tips on how to practice for Bob. So just to go through all the important dates, like I said, these are all in the brochures as well, but registration has already been posted. We already saw somebody registered earlier today, which is great. But that's open now and will be open through January 12th. So as long as you have your team together and your name together and your coach together by January 12th, you're totally fine. That registration is again at kdl.org/Bob. The form is on there. It's super simple, super fast. Just make sure you have all your team together and your information together. The coaches meeting is Thursday, January 11th at 6:30. And that is going to be through Zoom. It is required for new coaches. We recommend it for all coaches, but if you've been a coach before, you don't necessarily need to participate because not a lot has changed since last year. But it is also going to be recorded. So if you can't make that, that's okay as well. We will send you the recording if you're busy that night and can't make it, and we'll make sure that gets to you. Like I said, we'll be going over more specific questions that night and a lot of the nitty-gritty on how to practice with your team, what it means to be a coach, what responsibilities you're taking on, and what you'll need to be available for the students. It also goes over the details of the format that we're going to be using and the technology that you'll need to be familiar with and have available. And then the practice night is going to be Thursday, February 29th at 6:30, which is about a week and a half before the actual competition. That's going to be over Zoom as well. And that's not a required event, but it's a wonderful opportunity to sort of learn what the format of it's going to be. It's basically a shortened version of the BOM competition, but it's not necessarily for points. You won't get anything for winning that night, but it's great to get familiar with the format. It's great to get an idea of what kind of questions there will be. And if there's any technology kinks that we need to get through, that's a great time to do those so we don't have to mess around with them on the day of the competition. And it's also a good sort of benchmark to check your trivia knowledge and see where you're at and what books you need to focus on a little bit more if you want to do really well in the competition. So like I said, the actual Bob Day is Saturday, March 9th at 9 a.m. So the competition normally lasts around 3-ish hours. I can't guarantee that you'll be out at noon, but it lasts around that long, and it's going to be virtual through Zoom. It's 5 rounds of questions, and there's 12 questions in each round, so it's around 60 questions. And there's prizes for first, second, third, and the best team name. So make sure your team names are creative and fun because we want to give one out to a really great team name. And like I said, new this year is a Bob after party, which is going to be an in-person celebration of Bob. Costumes are encouraged, and that's also where we'll give away awards and the prizes that you earn for placing. If you want any updates on any of these events, and we'll have reminders, you can follow the Granville Battle of the Books Facebook page, and you can also check on our website. Okay. So getting to the great stuff. So for books, we are each going to tell you a little bit about each of the books. So yeah, drum roll. The first one that I have is called Wilderlore, The Accidental Apprentice. And this one's by Amanda Foody. So in this fantasy novel that's part How to Train Your Dragon, part Pokemon, a boy who accidentally bonds with a magical beast must set off on an adventure in the mysterious woods to embrace the quest that's awaiting him. The last thing that our main character, Barkley Thorne, ever wanted was an adventure. Thankfully, his path as an apprentice to the town's mushroom farmer has kept him on a safe and dependable path towards one day becoming head mushroom farmer himself. Sounds exciting. But then Barkley accidentally breaks his town's most sacred rule: never ever stray into the woods, for within the woods lurk vicious magical beasts. To Barkley's horror, he faces a fate far worse than being eaten by one of the beasts. He unwittingly bonds with one and is run out of town by an angry mob. So determined to break this newfound bond and return home, Barkley journeys to find the mysterious town of Lore Keepers, people who have also bonded with beasts and share their mystic powers. But after making new friends, entering a dangerous apprenticeship exam, and even facing the legendary beast of the woods, Barkley must make a difficult choice: return to the home and rules he's always known, or dive headfirst into the adventure he's fallen into. So if anyone participated last year and you enjoyed Amari and the Night Brothers, I know you'll really love this fun and exciting fantasy adventure that has heart-pounding competitions, awesome magical creatures, and a really unique magic system. So I'm going to bring Rachel up here to announce our next book.
All right, you ready for our second Bob book of the night? Is Honestly Elliot by Jillian Dunn. Now, we gotta move this down a little bit so you can hear me a little better. Do we always necessarily get along with our parents? Maybe not. So in Honestly Elliot, Elliot's struggling with his parents' divorce. His newly remarried dad and stepmom are just about to have a baby. Plus, his best friend has moved away. And on top of it all, he has a lot of trouble focusing on schoolwork and chores because he has ADHD, or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Now, what does make sense to Elliot's brain, though, is cooking. And when a big school project comes up, Elliot sees it as an opportunity to prove to his dad that cooking is worthwhile, and it would be a good way to pay for culinary camp and the incident, which he won't even talk to anyone about. But when Elliot's friends refuse to work with him, he also gets paired with super smart and popular Maribel, who Elliot is surprised to discover is also looking for a way to show others her true self. Now, for this project, Elliot and Maribel settle on making pies that are both low cost and gluten-free. But do Elliot and Maribel have what it takes? The tricky part, along with all of this, is finding a recipe that involves low-cost ingredients. Now, does anyone here really like the taste or smell of vinegar? Not really. So could you imagine having it as a key ingredient in a pie? Ugh. But that's just what Elliot and Maribel find in an old recipe that would be perfect for their project cost. So desperation pie, also known as vinegar pie, has been around for quite a while. It was actually popular during the Great Depression because it wasn't easy to get fresh ingredients. So with the right recipe, will Elliot be able to save enough to cover for the incident and culinary camp? Will he find his fit in his changing family? Honestly, Elliot is great at showing how unexpected allies can help you find the best way to be your best self. And I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. So this is our second Bob book, Honestly Elliot. And Julie will come on up and announce our third book.
All right. So our third book is Red, White, and Whole by Rajani LaRocca. So this book is set in 1983, where 13-year-old Reha is caught between two cultures, her immigrant Indian family and community, and the all-American experience at school with her school best friends. Reha lives 2 lives, one that is Indian and one that is not. She just wants to be like any teen who wants cool clothes, to go to the school dances, and to listen to pop music. But her parents have other ideas. Her mother doesn't approve of Reha acting more American than Indian. She makes all of Reha's clothes herself and is upset when Reha says she wants to go to the school dance. Reha is frustrated with her parents and how they don't understand her. But things really change when she gets some very bad news. Her mom is diagnosed with a blood cancer called leukemia, and Reha's life is turned upside down. Between school and family issues, she has her plate full. She thinks that if she can just be the perfect daughter, the daughter her parents want her to be, then she can save her mother. Red, White, and Whole is a heartwarming and heartbreaking novel in verse about mothers and daughters and straddling 2 cultures and finding a way to be whole. And it's a really great read, too. And now Nathan's up to talk about the next book.
Yes. So the next book I've got for you is Concealed by Christina Diaz-Gonzalez. So we all like a good mystery, right? So in this twisty book, our main character has gone by a lot of names: Yvette, Joanna, and now Katrina. But whatever her name is, it's not going to last very long. So Katrina doesn't know any of the details about her past, but she does know that she and her parents are part of the Witness Protection Program, so change is just a natural part of her life. Whenever her parents say that they have to move on and start over, she takes on a new identity, a new name, a new hair color, a full new story. But as she settles into this new life as Katrina and makes a new friend, Parker, she realizes she doesn't really want to leave this new life again. She's finally comfortable where she is. Until a slip-up leads to their location being leaked and her parents disappearing. So now Katrina and Parker must team up to save Katrina's parents, find out the truth about her past, and stay out of the clutches of whoever is now following them. Every new discovery unveils that Katrina's entire life has been nothing but lies. She has always kept her parents' secrets, but when it turns out that they were the ones keeping secrets from her, who was left for her to trust? Could Katrina be the reason that they've been hiding all these years? The truth will throw everything Katrina has ever believed about herself into question. So this is a really fast-paced mystery with a surprising blend of some different genres that you're not necessarily expecting. And when you think that you know where it's going and you know who to trust, the story gets completely turned on its head and flips all of your ideas over. So again, that one is Concealed, and it's a really, really exciting mystery that'll have you turning the pages until the very end. And the last one is going to be Rachel again.
Right. I'm really excited to announce our last Bob book is A Rover's Story by Jasmine Warga. Now, for this Bob book, the main character isn't a who, it's a Mars rover. So resilience, or RES, is built to navigate through Mars, but RES begins to pick up on human emotions from the scientists building it, along with help from a drone called Fly and a satellite called Guardian. RES navigates the challenging landscape of Mars to collect samples and search for an older offline rover. But RES soon discovers that Mars might be more of a challenge than anticipated and discovers that some decisions go beyond programming code. Now, while millions of people are watching RES, there's one person in particular who's keeping an especially close eye. Sophia, or Sophie, is the daughter of one of the scientists that built RES, and she writes letters to the rover starting in 6th grade and continues on and off all the way through adulthood. Sophie writes about her life and how RES's journey impacts her and her relationship with her mom. Now, if you like the Wild Robot books, yeah, or the movie WALL-E, you'll really enjoy A Rover's Story. And that concludes all 5 of our Bob books.
Thank you, Rachel. So we want to thank our Bob committee for helping us select those. Like I said, that consists of librarians here at KDL, as well as some past and present library staff and teachers at Granville Public Schools as well. So we want to thank those people. We try to do a blend of genres and a lot of stuff that's relatively recent. And like I said, yeah, a lot of blend of genres so that we can try to make sure everyone finds something that they really love and find something new that they really like as well. So I will warn you guys, there's always a hold list for Bob books because there's a lot of people who are participating. So there's a limited number available. So please be mindful of that when you're placing any holds on any of these books or checking out any of the books. We do have a cart of them in the back today that we'll wheel out when we're done. Try to keep your checkouts of books to 1 to 2 Bob books at a time, and then you can place holds on the others. You can even, suspend your holds so that you can stay at the top of the list. If you have any questions about that, we can help you do that. That way you can stay at the top of the list, and when you're ready and you return your last ones, those will be ready to go for you. Checkout periods at Kent District Library are limited to 3 weeks at a time. They normally auto-renew, but Bob books most of the time have holds on them, so they won't auto-renew for you. And while we don't have fines, we do ask that you guys try to be courteous to others because there's always going to be people waiting for these to study up on and get reading. All of these books are available in print, ebook, and e-audiobook, and most of them are available in physical CD as well if you need those through KDL. And then print versions of these books are also going to be available in your Granville Public Middle School and Elementary Schools, as well as Granville Christian Elementary and Middle School. And then digital versions are also available through Libby for ebook and e-audiobook, and some of them are also available in e-audiobook and ebook through Hoopla. If you've never heard of some of those apps, we're always here for any questions that you guys have about those, but basically they are ebook and e-audiobook apps. So they're available all over the place, and you can place holds on them all over the place as well. All right, and so like I said, registration is now open on kdl.org/Bob. Again, the coaches meeting, if you have any other more specific questions, that's a great time to ask any of those questions. If you have any time-sensitive questions before the coaches meeting, you can always email us at granvilleyouthstaff@kdl.org, or you can ask at the end of this. And let me make sure that's everything. I think that's everything. So does anybody have any questions right now that might be beneficial for anybody? If you're watching on the live stream, you're also welcome to drop it in the chat and we'll get it answered. But does anybody have any questions?
Do you need your team name when you register?
You will need your team name when you register. If you absolutely can't get a team name decided on by January 12th, you can leave it, put a placeholder, and we can fill it in a little bit later, but we ask to try to get in as soon as possible. But if that's what's holding you up, just go ahead and register and figure it out later. Anything else? Okay, well, we will leave the live stream running for another minute or two in case there's any other questions, but otherwise we'll pull out the books. Thank you guys for coming.
So keep in mind,
Okay. Because I don't know that she knows anybody at school who's doing it. So she said she was talking about it on the bus, but yeah. I will.
Partially probably needs to be bigger, partially.
That'd be awesome. That'd be great. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's your thing. All right, well, good to see you. How's life treating you?